Welcome back, Portugal Junkies.
Hello, hello.
We are here with wine.
Yet again. It's twice in a row.
This is our last podcast
And even
from Porto.
Yeah. So more reason for the wine.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We love putting that sound on the podcast.
Sorry?
We love putting that sound.
Yes.
Do it again.
Easy, Tiger. Break them.
So, I do have a story. So,
Yes.
The headline is, My Nurse Made Me Cry.
Yes.
So, I have not discussed
That's supposed to
this.
be nice.
I have not discussed this on here yet, but I've been meaning to because it's not like something I was avoiding, but it just when's the right time or place. A couple weeks ago, Mark was like, I think you need to go to the dermatologist. There's this spot on the middle of your back where I can't see it and I can barely touch it. So I didn't even know it was there. And he's like, I just think you might need to get it checked out. So we go to the dermatologist. Mm-hmm. Again, we have had such a good experience with healthcare here anytime we've needed it.
Medical has been
It has been awesome.
superb.
It's been, superb is the right word. And it's a basal cell carcinoma. And at first, I was like, oh, shit. You're telling me I have skin cancer, and you're telling me that it is malignant. So that scared me a little. But then, as you probably know, and it was just new to me, that it's very treatable. Yeah. Like, all those things are true, but it's literally like, have an incision, remove it, you're good.
Job done. And we called it early enough because it was a superficial.
Yeah, it's really been, after the first day, I was very teary on the first day.
Understandably.
But then I had 24 hours to think about it, and I was like, okay, happens to a lot of people. So, again, thank you for all the tanning beds and baby oil and all the crap that I used to do to myself.
Go North Carolina.
Being an 80s baby or early 90s baby. Anyway, so we've been through that consultation. We have been through that biopsy and then waiting
for the actual surgery.
Right. And the dermatologist was like, really, I am 99.9% sure that that's what it is, but we need to do the biopsy and just make sure and then move on from there. So this has been going on for the past couple of weeks. So I go in for the biopsy though, and I've never had a biopsy. So I don't think I would say I was anxious. I might have been a little nervous, right? Because I know that they're going to cut me. And I don't know much more than that. And I also know that it's like 3 millimeters or something. It's very tiny. Mm-hmm. And we walk in, and Joanna is the nurse. And she is the sweetest, most relatable person. Yeah. She knows better English than I'll ever know Portuguese.
I thought you could say better English than you know English.
Probably. And she just was so wonderful to us, but also just me, because I'm sitting there and she's like, okay, lay down. He'll be in just a minute to actually do the biopsy.
Yep.
And I was good. I mean, I literally wasn't so scared, but it was just a little bit of like, okay, I don't know what to expect here. Yeah. And I laid down, and she literally was talking to Mark and came over to me and just rubbed my arm.
Yeah.
It almost like she didn't even realize what she was doing. It was so natural to her to treat her patients that way, because she was having a full-on conversation with Mark. And I literally started crying. And I think it was just this maternal, and she's younger than me, but it was just this maternal, comforting, natural thing that she did. Yep. In a little bit of anxious, worried state that I was in, and I just started crying. It wasn't the first time. I mean, it was the first time we cried together, but it wasn't the last time, because then I would go back. I went back to.
You missed an appointment.
No, this is another one. This is when we went, and she was in there. We were in there together, of course, and she asked me to come back 4 times to clean the incision from the biopsy. So if that tells you about their thoroughness here, it's nuts. And by the way, that costs €1. I was there for one of these visits for her to just make sure my bandage looks fine and all that stuff. And she got teary with me because I told her how she made me feel that day, how comforted she made me. And then she started crying because at like 9:00 that morning, she was working with a child that is probably not going to make it. And she was like, I shouldn't be crying. I shouldn't be crying in front of you. And I was like, no, you don't know me. Hello.
Cry together.
I don't know. And that's, I wanted to share that story because I feel like I have such a connection with her, and you probably do too because you watched all of it unfold.
Yeah, she's absolutely fantastic.
Yes, she is meant to do what she does.
Yeah.
And I tried to tell that to her.
Yeah.
Who knows if it actually truly translated.
Yeah.
But we got each other, so we're good there. But I was just so thankful, and that's just a general update about the whole BCC situation. But also, how thankful am I that that's who was assigned to me in those moments. And I just think people are sent to you in life sometimes. Yeah. And I was just very thankful for her. But that's the story of the day. It's a good one.
It is.
She's
it's a very good one. And again, it kind of leads into, this last episode of Porto. And, what have we learned about it? And we've said this 100 times on these podcasts and such. And that is one of the things that we have learned, and I will speak for you on this one, is that we've learned that the people in Porto are just fabulous. They really are. They really, really are. And, this is just another one of those 100 ways that illustrates how lovely and personable and helpful and considerate all of the people that we've ever come into contact with.
Honestly.
And I'm not saying that everybody is like that. I'm sure there are some.
The people we have met, though, are. That's the thing.
The ones that we have encountered and choose to get to know more are fantastic.
I get a little verklempt. Do you know what that means?
I'm sorry, I thought you were having a fit.
I get a little choked up.
Oh, okay.
When I think about all the people, kind of rewind in my head, and I think about the individuals that we have met. And they might not have been people that we invite over to have dinner or, go out and have dinner, socialize with. But I remember, it's like when I think back and I think about our 10 months here and I think about the people that we've interacted with, I get a little choked up because all of them have felt a lot like Joanna, meaning they've welcomed us with open arms and they have helped us learn. They have been just so super kind to us. Yeah. And that's how I will remember Porto, I think, is by its people. And, we do a lot of talking about, the whole point of this episode is to talk about what we've learned, right, from Porto. It's kind of our kind of farewell episode here as we leave for Tavira. But I think you're right. I mean, the people are just amazing. And I also think that there's a pride here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not ego. It's just it's just this quiet, it's not even quiet. It's not. They're loud about it. Yeah. They love Porto. If they're born here, they love Porto because they have chosen to stay here. And a lot of people can't, and they are kind of forced to move elsewhere because of salary and job opportunities and all these things that we've talked about in the past. But people who are born here and stay here, they're not going anywhere. They have such a love for this place.
Yeah, for definite.
And it's kind of infectious, don't you think?
Yeah, because you get attached to those people who help you understand what Porto is about.
Yeah.
And
she's really hard to describe. I call her a she, because she is a she. Yeah. We were talking about it as we were talking about this particular episode and what we wanted to talk through, but she is so hard to describe for me. Yeah. It's, people say she's a vibe, and I'm like, I totally get that sentiment. I get what people mean when, Porto's a total vibe. Yes, it's like this energy that you can't really put your finger on what it is. I mean, if I had to, it is the people, it is the confidence, it is the pride, it's the music and the food and all the cultural things that people swear by. They're like, you want this franceschina, you absolutely want to eat it. And I'm like,
you've got to go here for it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it too many times, for sure.
I don't know. I find it hard to describe Porto. Yeah. And maybe it's because we've been here and we've experienced things that, would take longer than a week here or 3 or 4 days here to
easily more than
understand.
That. And I think that, again, leaning into that, you've got this whole city life, and at certain points in the year, it's just a regular Portuguese city. And at other times, it is this tourist capital of Portugal.
Yeah.
And it
good and bad.
It switches itself.
Yeah.
Like a light switch. And that's good and bad. And I think that, one of the things that it's taught me is that I love Porto, the city. I just don't enjoy
Porto when it's touristy.
The experience of the masses. And I know that, I can't remember if I said this the other week, was, if you're in a traffic jam and somebody says, I'm stuck in a traffic jam, it's like, no, you are part of the traffic jam. You are part of the problem.
The problem.
And so I sit here and I say that, and I am part of that problem. Just because I happen to be an immigrant here, for working my way or working our way through for the next years to be here. I think that it has taught me that it can change.
Oh, she's got a lot of different faces.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't you think she's a she? I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't assign genders.
I think that would be difficult.
He, they.
Yeah.
But I can't help it. I do identify with her, so maybe because I identify as a she, I think she's a she.
Right.
But I feel like, here's the thing. You come across that bridge into Porto from Gaia, you walk across that bridge, either way you walk, and you look at the Porto side, and it is undeniable her beauty.
It's beautiful.
Undeniable.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is probably one of the most picturesque spots in Europe. It is. 100%.
It's certainly one of the most noted and notable.
It is.
You see it in a photo. You see it online.
Don't you still get wild when we walk across there and
absolutely.
We've been here for 10 months?
But again, I think that's another thing that I've had to make sure that I check myself sometimes, because the other week we were walking all the way out to the river, to the ocean. And, straight across the bridge, around the jardin, blah, 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 and started to go down the stairs to get onto the Gaia side. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, just
look at
stop, turn around and take 2 minutes. This is always about this whole thing of experiences. And one of the things that Porto has taught me is to slow down. It's taught me to slow down and see what is here.
Slow down for your coffee. Slow down for your meal.
Yeah, I mean...
slow down walking on the street.
Yeah, and again, yes, I get irritated quite easily by people that will... whether they're Portuguese or tourists, and they'll just be meandering along going, oh, look at this.
Like we did. When we were here.
And I'm sure that there were 100 people behind me going, get the shit out of the way. And so now I feel it's my place to do that as well. But I think that it has taught me to slow down.
Which is funny because I thought I was going to have more trouble.
Oh, no, I think you leaned into that even easier than I did.
Oh, my God. I mean, we have slowed down.
Slowed down?
Slowed down. That's the wine. We have definitely slowed down. But I also think that there's always room for opportunity.
Absolutely.
There's always room for improvement with slowing down even more, which is why we're going to Tavira.
Yeah.
I think that she's taught you to slow down a little bit. Yeah. She's taught us both to slow down.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But again, to coin it and put it in that sort of wrapped up of how you see a place, how you want to experience it. You know, that's what it's taught me. I'll
also say, so
explore, look around, and if you think the view in front of you is great, just turn around and see what's behind you. That's exactly where I was going. So it's like, you know, you talk about this iconic Dom Luís Bridge view into Porto and how it is absolutely stunning. And that's kind of like her obvious beauty. Yeah. But what I've learned is that a couple of streets back, when the city gets a little gritty, her beauty just becomes more hidden. Yeah. And I think, just to touch on that, I think one of the things it has that I've learned from Porto as well is, to your point of like, you get a little bit further back and you go into some of the more sort of darker areas. I mean, you say dark, but what you mean is like the old buildings. Yeah, the narrow streets and things like that. I'm not talking about any other dark, but those sorts of places. When you see the graffiti, and you know, there's two types of, let's say, paint on a wall, and that is wall art and graffiti. Yeah. And I don't know. You're going to see a lot of it. Which is which in some cases. And I think that one of the things that Porto has taught me is, even if you see these like logos or graffitied walls, it doesn't mean that it's dangerous. Yeah. I'm not saying don't pay any attention. I'm just saying it is different to my experiences of, like, when I would walk around New York or Chicago or other places like that, and you see graffiti and you're thinking, oh crap, gang area. 100%. And it is not at all like that. And I think that has taught, you know, Porto has taught me to check my bias. Yeah. It's so true. 100%. Because I really struggled with this at the beginning. I'm not saying that I'm the best and I get it right every time, but I have this massive difference or different way of how I see what I see. When we moved here, and it was raining every day, right? And we walked up and down our first street here in Porto, which was not my favorite. It was graffiti, and there was also street art. So I think those are two separate things. And even qualifying those things, they both belong here because it's part of the culture. Right. So it's not right. So, yeah, you're right. Like, if I was in Charlotte or New York or Chicago and I'm surrounded by graffitied neighborhoods, I would check myself, right? Yeah. Here, I did that and then had to go, wait, this is one of the most popular streets in the city. Yeah. Like, I think you're right about the word bias, where it's like our own experiences of London, New York, Chicago, when you have those types of areas where you see this graffiti or street art, it also alerts you that you should probably be on guard. That is not the way here. No. But again, it is a form of protest, though. Yeah. And it is part of the culture. Yeah. And, you know, there's part of it that I look at and I go, oh, I hate it that they did that to that beautiful building. And then I walk another street and it's a full-on street mural that is like a Banksy, but artistry. Massive. And so, you know, you can look at it both ways. I feel like I think you're right. You have to check your bias and you have to go, but this is their culture. This is part of what their cities are like. At least I will say Porto. I don't know about the rest. No. I haven't seen any graffiti in Tavira. How about that? Didn't see any of that. But I'm glad that you said it makes you check your bias, because you're right. Like, that's what it's really about. Yeah. And, you know, I am telling you, and I've said it on this podcast many times, there have been very few times in 10 months here that I have felt threatened as a woman. Right. And I can't even say that walking down the street of our old neighborhood in Charlotte. Yeah. So, you know. And that's like, taking the dog out at 10 o'clock at night. Oh, God, yeah. Easy. You know, on your own. 100%. No problem. Anyway, what else has Porto taught us? Gosh. Oh, it's taught me that I do not miss having a car, and that the metro of any city is a fantastic thing.
It is true.
That's one of the things.
See, he goes logical, and I go philosophical.
Yeah.
Like, what has she taught us? And he's
actually,
that the metro is amazing.
She's taught me that at 6:45 I can get the...
That's right, logistics here. I mean, I will say that Porto has taught me from that view that she's a great stopping point. She's a great hub for other adventures and other places.
Yeah.
So we've been to multiple day trips. I think that's why a lot of people choose here, because you have the accessibility of all of this arts and culture and music and restaurants and all of those things sitting here in the second largest city in Portugal. But not only that, in an hour or two, you can go to so many beautiful places in Portugal by train. Yeah. So I know that I pick on you about your logistics, but it is true.
It is.
She's a good hub.
It is. And for the price that you pay, like €3.45 for a single to go an hour and a half into Guimarães the other day.
Yeah.
It's just, I would find it difficult to find that anywhere else outside of Portugal.
Yeah.
You certainly couldn't do it in England. Not a chance.
A little bit more expensive.
Oh, yeah, a lot more. A lot more.
I think the other thing Porto has taught us, this is very important.
Us?
You might need to take a sip of wine.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you might need to make a note.
Porto wants us to know that Porto is not Lisbon. Okay? Make sure that is very clear. They have this thing about being different from Lisbon, and they are. I mean,
they're like two rival football teams.
It is. I mean, it's almost
really, that's
like
how I would look at it.
When I talk about like the pride and the people who are from Porto, I mean, they are quick to be like, "Oh, but we're not like Lisbon at all.
We're nicer.
We're nicer," and that's true
from experience.
And I think they just feel like they've got more culture on Lisbon, and I would say that is true too.
I would agree. Totally.
It's like a little rivalry that goes on, and I'm like, Team Porto.
We picked our team.
Now, I love to visit Lisbon. It is a beautiful place, but I would never live there. And it seems a little bit too cosmopolitan to really feel like you're learning anything that's Portuguese there. I mean, you can, but you have to, I don't know, kind of buy into the touristy mentality there. It doesn't feel as authentic anymore there.
I would agree with that. Agree with that. But, it's difficult to really wrap up what Porto has taught me or what I've learned from Porto. Other than, this has been a great experience. It's going to teach us to take additional risks. It's going to tell us that we did good here.
I think we did good here.
And we can now just sort of jog on and explore other places.
Yeah. I think to me, and this is why I got it tattooed on my arm before I left the city. Saudade is a word that means, it's a Portuguese word. That
doesn't have any literal.
Yeah, it doesn't have a literal meaning in English. But the closest thing that they say here is that saudade means a longing, the state of longing for more. And it's basically the inspiration for fado music, which is the music of Portugal, which I really love, even though I can't understand a word that they're saying when we go, but there's just this this thing. It feels so Portuguese, and it is. And so when I learned about the word saudade, I feel like that's why I felt like I should get this tattoo before we leave Porto, because I don't necessarily think of saudade when I think of Lisbon.
I mean, no, but you've not lived in it.
No.
To know whether that.
But I identify it with more Porto.
Yeah.
This longing, this thing that I identify with it because I'm an Enneagram 4, and we always just have this thing of wanting to be individuals, wanting to be just a little bit different.
Mm.
And I feel like that's what Porto is, especially when you compare her to a Lisbon or honestly the Algarve, right?
Yeah.
She's got the coolest vibe of any of them.
Yes.
She's the girl with the purple hair, man.
Porto is nothing like any other place that we've been to.
And probably that we'll ever go. But
I hope not.
I hope not too.
In the sense that I hope that everything that I've picked up and learned and put down, anything that I didn't like about it, which has been very, very little, if anything, I'm hoping that I'm never going to find that elsewhere, because I want this lesson and this teaching of Porto to remain Porto.
Yeah, I think it will.
I think it will.
She's been great to us. And we are very thankful for her. I'm a little sad to say goodbye. But
yes.
I'm also thankful and just grateful for the experiences that we've had here. Yeah. And she's a great place to start your Portuguese journey.
Yes.
That is for sure.
Definitely.
And that's what we did.
Yeah, I think, it's one of those ones where it's a new page, a new chapter as we continue to move forward.
Yeah.
Never going to stop moving forward. And even if that's staying longer in one place, well, if that's what it is, that's what it is. But I don't want to be so cut into like
a plan,
a one person, one place type thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think that we'll know when we find our semi-final place.
Yes.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm 53, and I have no.
And there's a lot of world to see.
I have no intention to not continue to see things.
Yeah, I feel like Portugal has taught me that we can do anything we want to do.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing for me. That our experiences here have taught us that we can go and do whatever we want to do wherever that is, and that's pretty damn big. Yeah. So I will always have a huge spot in my heart for this place, not only for her beauty and like her literal beauty, but how she made me feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it gonna miss it?
Yeah.
But time for a change. Time for seeing some new stuff, and that was always the reason why we up sticks.
Yeah, up sticks.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Move. So you take sticks and you just carry them with it.
Okay. When you have to explain the joke.
It wasn't a joke, it was an expression.
I mean, you think it's a joke.
I didn't say it was a joke.
We're wrapping up now. You guys, we appreciate you so much.
Thank
next time we come back to you, we may just be in Tavira. So.
Actually, next time we come back, we will be in Tavira, and we will be like flip-flops and shorts and...
Cool.
Oh, yeah. Going to take you on
the dog's going to have
more
tour greenery to run around.
Place. Yeah.
We're excited to share that next step with you. So thanks for coming along with the ride.
I was going to say, hopefully you'll get something out of it as well. From all of the podcasts that we've done about Porto, and as we continue to move on with other Algarve areas. If that's more your scene, then join us for that as well. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cheers, y'all.
Thank you very much.
See you next week.
Bye.
Listen up, future expats. For more content about our move, the visa process, Portuguese culture and destinations, and tons of support resources for your own decisions and potential move abroad, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Portugal Junkies.
Stay in touch and help us reach more people by subscribing here and following us there.
Cheers, y'all.